In the small, dusty village of Shirdi, there lived a man who was a beautiful puzzle. His name was Sai Baba. No one knew where he came from, what his real name was, or who his parents were. He was simply Baba, a father to all who came to him. He was a fakir, yet he was also a guru. He lived in a dilapidated mosque, which he called Dwarka Mai, a name deeply rooted in Hindu tradition. This was the first sign of his mysterious nature. He did not fit into any box that society tried to put him in. He was a living, breathing testament to a truth that lies beyond our simple definitions of religion and identity. His presence was a quiet revolution, teaching that God is one, no matter the name we use. Baba's appearance was as unique as his teachings. He wore a simple kafni, a long robe, and tied a cloth around his head, much like a Muslim fakir. Yet, on his forehead, he often had the mark of sandalwood paste, a custom followed by Hindus. He spoke in parables and stories, drawing wisdom from both the Quran and the Bhagavad Gita. People who came to see him were often confused at first. Was he a Muslim? Was he a Hindu? Baba would just smile, his eyes twinkling with a secret knowledge. He knew that these labels were just clothes we wear. The soul underneath, the spirit within, is the same for everyone. His life was a message, showing that love and faith are universal languages. The mystery of Sai Baba was not just in his background, but in his very being. He seemed to be everywhere at once. People would see him in Shirdi, and at the same time, someone far away would have a vision of him, helping them in a moment of crisis. He knew the thoughts in people's minds before they even spoke a word. He could tell them about their past lives and their future challenges. This was not magic for show. It was his way of guiding his children, of showing them that a power greater than themselves was watching over them. He was a constant presence, a steady anchor in the stormy sea of life, reminding everyone that they were never truly alone. His home, the Dwarka, was a symbol of his all-encompassing heart. It was a mosque, but in it, a sacred fire, the duni, burned day and night, a practice central to Hindu worship. Hindus and Muslims, rich and poor, scholars and simple villagers, all gathered under its roof. They sat together, ate together, and worshipped together. In Baba's presence, all differences melted away. The Dwarka Mai was not just a building of brick and mud, it was a sanctuary of unity. Sai Baba was the architect of this sanctuary, building a bridge of love that connected every heart, proving that the house of God has many doors, and all are welcome. Sai Baba had a beautiful way of showing respect for all paths to God. He lived this truth every single day in Shirdi, making it a place where different faiths did not just tolerate each other, but celebrated together. He participated in Muslim festivals with the same devotion as he did in Hindu ones. During the month of Ramadan, he would allow fakirs to read the Quran in his presence. He would listen with deep respect, understanding the sacred verses. When the festival of Eid arrived, he would join in the celebrations, his heart full of joy for his Muslim devotees. He showed them that their path was also a way to reach the one divine reality. At the same time, Baba was deeply connected to Hindu traditions. He allowed his Hindu devotees to perform arati, the ritual of waving lamps before him while singing songs of praise. He encouraged them to celebrate festivals like Rama Navami and Gokulashtami with great enthusiasm. He would give them prasad, blessed food, just as a deity in a temple would. He often spoke of Hindu gods like Rama and Krishna, using their stories to teach lessons about dharma and devotion. By doing this, he was not confusing anyone. He was showing that the essence of all these rituals and stories was the same, to fill the heart with love for God and for all beings. One of his most symbolic acts was the lighting of lamps. Every evening he would light earthen lamps in the Dwarka Mai and in the nearby temples. This simple act was full of meaning. In Islam, light is a symbol of Allah's guidance. In Hinduism, light represents knowledge and the dispelling of darkness or ignorance. By lighting lamps in both a mosque and a temple, Baba was teaching a profound lesson without saying a word. He was showing that both faiths were paths of light, leading people out of the darkness of doubt and fear. His lamps were a beacon of unity, shining for everyone to see. Baba's life was a perfect harmony of different traditions. He would say Allah Malik, meaning God is King. and in the same breath, he would talk about karma and reincarnation. He did not see any conflict between these ideas. For him, they were just different ways of describing the same ultimate truth. He showed that one could be a good Muslim and still respect the wisdom of the Vedas. One could be a devout Hindu and still find beauty in the teachings of the Prophet. Sai Baba did not create a new religion. He simply reminded us of the forgotten truth that all religions are rivers flowing into the same great ocean of divinity. Sai Baba was not just a saint, he was also a perfect yogi. He had complete control over his body and the elements of nature. He could do things that seemed impossible to ordinary people. These were not tricks to impress others. They were signs of his complete union with the divine consciousness that governs the universe. One of the practices he was seen doing was a yogic cleansing technique called dhauti. This is a very difficult practice where a yogi cleanses the entire digestive tract. Baba would do this with an effortless grace that astonished those who witnessed it, showing his mastery over the internal functions of his own body. The process of dhauti, as Baba performed it, was a lesson in itself. He would swallow a long strip of cloth, about 3 inches wide and many feet long, after soaking it in water. He would let it remain inside his stomach for a while, allowing it to cleanse his intestines. Then, he would slowly pull the cloth back out. For most people, this is an unimaginable feat. For Baba, it was as simple as breathing. This showed his devotees that the body, which often seems to be our master, can become our servant. Through discipline and spiritual power, one can gain control over the physical form and keep it pure and healthy, making it a fitting temple for the soul. This control was not limited to cleansing practices. Baba had mastered all the elements. He could command the fire, the water, and the air. There are stories of him stopping a raging storm with just a few words. He could make the sacred fire in his dhuni burn brighter or calmer according to his will. He demonstrated that the physical world we see is governed by subtle, unseen energies. A perfect yogi, one who is in tune with the source of all creation, can interact with these energies. Baba's yogic powers were a visible sign of his invisible connection to God. By performing these yogic kriyas, or practices, Baba was teaching a deeper truth. He was showing that the spiritual journey involves both the mind and the body. It is not enough to just pray or read scriptures. One must also purify the vessel, the physical body, so that it can hold the divine energy. His life was an open book on the science of yoga. He demonstrated that with sincere practice and unwavering faith, a human being can transcend the limitations of the physical body and experience a state of perfect health, peace, and union with the divine. His yogic feats were not just miracles, they were lessons in the infinite potential that lies dormant within every one of us. Among Sai Baba's many yogic abilities, one of the most astonishing and mysterious was a practice known as Khanda Yoga. This was not something one could learn from a book. It was a power that came from the highest state of spiritual realization. In this practice, Baba would separate his limbs and inner organs from his body and leave them scattered in different corners of the Dwarkamai. To anyone who walked in at that moment, it would have been a terrifying sight. It would look as if someone had dismembered a body, but for Baba it was a state of deep meditation, a merging with the infinite.